right, now it's time for This Week in Sports. Once again, my co-host, Football Mark. How's it going, Mark?
Hey, John, what's going on?
What's going on? Last week we recorded in the morning, now it's at night. All right, so this week I was looking at the headlines. One of the big stories was Miles Bridges and what happened there. All right, so I'm going to play that clip.
From behind, but a foul. And they're going to count the goal. They're going to say a goaltend.
But that's leadership.
Oh, he just got teed up. You got to be careful and just got thrown out. Multiple technicals, automatic ejection. Bridges' frustration. They need to get him away. Bridges, who's one of the candidates, a fan giving him some stuff as well. The guy had a magnificent season, one of the candidates most improved.
So what did you think about that? Because that's happened a couple times over the last couple of years. I remember Russell Westbrook, I think he grabbed somebody's cell phone a couple of years ago. There's been a couple incidents with the fans coming at the players. What do you think about that? What do you think the penalty should be there and how he handled it?
It's definitely going to be a suspension.
Yeah, apparently he hit a 16-year-old girl with the mouthpiece. It didn't hit that guy. It actually hit the girl sitting near him.
Yeah, that was very.
Bridges did apologize for it.
Yeah, I seen his apology. When you're playing basketball, you're playing sports. It's a situation where players are in that competitive mode and they're overwhelmed with anger. But because he's a professional, he needs to control it. That's part of the game, being distracted by the fans and stuff like that. But anyhow, he made a mistake and he was really apologetic in that process. I seen the interview. He was actually one of the probably the best apology interviews that I've seen. You can hear the sincerity in his apology.
He's not that guy. This isn't something that we've ever seen from him. He's not that guy.
Yeah, but he's a pro, so
yeah.
He's gonna. And he said the accountability part. He was ready for the NBA to do whatever they need to do, and he will accept that responsibility. And that's what a pro should. That's what he should. Welcome.
Yeah, I do think the fans there are times where the fans kind of cross the line. I can remember growing up when they were throwing snowballs on the field, but not just snowballs. A lot of stuff at the Meadowlands. I remember. I remember Sam Weiss grabbing the microphone and asking people to stop throwing things on the field. I mean, so there's been a couple times where fans cross the line, and I think when you're going to a game, the fans also need to, not cross the line. I don't know what was said that made Bridges flip out the way he did, but it definitely looked like the guy was taunting him when he was already angry after getting 2 technicals and getting kicked out of the game. But again, it was just words. It didn't look like the fan threw anything. But there's been a couple of these times you played ball, didn't you?
Right.
Where did you
play? A little high school ball, a little college ball, But at the end of the day, he was supposed to, handle that situation in a better way.
Yeah.
When you play sports, you're so you have to. You're so, like I said, it's a competitive sport, and I guess the adrenaline was still flowing. He was still angry. He made an impulsive decision.
Yeah. Anytime a 16-year-old girl's getting hit with anything from a player, that they're throwing into the crowd, that's not a good look. So. Yeah. But when you were playing, were there any times where you lost your cool, Football Mark?
Yeah, well, I lost my cool with players.
Right.
Basically, you know what I mean. If we're gonna fight, you know, uh, we're gonna fight. It's what it is. Sometimes you get caught up in that moment, and it happens.
Yeah.
You know, so a lot of times I watch uh, the Minnesota Timberwolves. They got that little pest over there,
Yeah. They look like they won the championship, didn't they?
right? And he gets paid to do that.
He's tough. He's tough. Would you say he's the best defender
No,
in the
I
NBA?
don't think he's the best defender. I mean, he's a good defender.
Yeah.
I think that he that's what he does. He gets in people's head. And he's a really good defender. He's one of the top defender though.
Yeah, I think he's a throwback to the days where not just basketball, but all the sports were a little tougher, like baseball, when you used to slide with your uh, with the cleats up. All the sports were a little bit football before all the taunting penalties and everything. I think Beverly's a throwback to those tougher players.
Yeah, Patrick Beverly he's a problem.
Yeah,
He's very intense. That's what he does.
like a Gary Payton.
Yeah, Gary Payton wasn't as, I mean, he was a good defensive player, but he wasn't like Patrick Beverly, I think, when it comes to really aggravating people. The glove
He
was a
is
problem,
gifted.
but Patrick Beverly's on a different level, and I think the glove was a better defender.
I mean,
Until he
I remember the old days where.
Yeah, until he got a little older, then the glove had a hole in it.
Yeah,
By the time he got to the Lakers,
yeah.
when he got to the Heat, the glove had a hole in it. He was done.
I
But he
remember the
was
old
great.
days where Michael. I don't know if you heard this story where Clyde Drexler had his sneakers on the wrong feet, but he didn't want Jordan to know that, so he played that way, or he waited till the moment where he could switch it back, but not where Jordan would see, because that's how much Jordan was in his head. And I love Clyde Drexler, by the way.
Yeah. Mike is Mike, though. Mike is really competitive.
Yeah, yeah, those were the days there.
Yeah, Michael Jordan, competitive nature and his will to win is different than any other player. Basketball player. When you talk about like the mindset of him, LeBron, the only thing I've seen anything like Michael was Kobe.
Yeah, yeah, I love watching the old Kobe clips, interviews. Him playing. They're really incredible. You had told me uh, when we were talking recently that there was a room that when guys had a disagreement, they had a room where they would take care of it. What was it called?
It's called the understanding room.
The understanding room. I love that.
Understanding room. So in this room, you guys fight it out, talk it out. When you come out of that room, you better have an understanding.
I love it.
Yeah, of course we didn't. That was his philosophy.
It's old school. The
Yes,
best school. Yeah. And it worked, probably, right? Did it work?
definitely.
All right.
It actually brought us closer together.
Yeah. I believe it.
Football, basketball, a team sport. You become very close with your peers, and you should be able to. You got to trust each other in that process.
There was a guy in the Phillies who got booed out of the stadium. He committed 3 errors in the game, and Philadelphia booed him. And then when they interviewed him after the game, he said, "I hate this fucking place."
Yeah.
Then he got a standing ovation the next game. That's the most Philly thing ever.
The fans are tough down there.
Yeah.
The
But
fans
they
are tough.
appreciated it. They gave him a standing ovation after he said, "I hate this fucking place."
I guess that's a good thing because
Right.
they appreciate his honesty.
Yeah,
And, these sports, these big cities are hard to play in, like New York. The Knicks, look at they're struggling. It's really hard to play there. The media is very tough there.
yeah. I don't compliment Philadelphia very often, but I do like that they appreciate that realness that he could say that and then get a standing ovation the next day. I agree with you. I think it's great that they can appreciate that rather than there's no grudges, right? It's like a family, right? You fight the next day, it's forgiven. That's the way it is. Uh,
Should be. It
that,
should be.
yep, that's the way it should be.
Should be.
So Green
That's the
Bay,
old school. That's the old school. That's the old school way of solving things. Let's get back to Let's get back to playing.
yep,
Let's get back to doing the basics. Let's get back to the fundamentals. Let's get back to hard-nosed basketball or football and win some games. That's what it's all about. That's what it was back then.
absolutely. And the Packers, I think, are trying to win some games for next year. They finally signed a wide receiver after trading Devontae Adams. They signed Sammy Watkins. Uh, I think it was a 1 year deal. So that now they'll have him with Lazard and Randall Cobb. That's who they have right now. What do you think of Watkins? You think he could be a number one there?
Absolutely not. Absolutely. I don't know. I think Sammy stays hurt too much.
Yeah.
Um, I thought it was another receiver that they picked up too. I forget what it was. Well, somebody else I think they got, but I'm not sure.
I can't think. I know
But
they
I think
lost a bunch.
actually, yeah,
St.
but
Brown went to Chicago. I can't think of who they
yeah,
brought in.
I'm not impressed with Sammy Watkins. You know, he was in Kansas City and he couldn't really get too much separation out there. He didn't show me much. He had a few decent games, nothing special, and he had a great quarterback. I, he'll do good with Aaron Rodgers. And he's going up to Green Bay, so hopefully he doesn't get hurt.
Yeah.
Hopefully he does well before he gets hurt.
He's had some big games. He was a first round pick. He's had some big games here and there. I mean, I don't. I think it's worth it for them. The deal they're giving him is definitely a discounted deal compared to the big time wide receivers. I think they're going a different direction than a lot of teams are, where these teams are paying big money for wide receivers. I think Green Bay is trying to go cheap and try to find some guys that can play. I mean, Cobb can play. Lazard has shown a lot of potential. Watkins, like you said, he's always hurt, but there is potential there. And then if they draft a guy, you could have 4 wide receivers for the price of Adams. And then they have Tanya in the tight end coming back from injury. So I mean, sometimes it's addition by subtraction, right? So if you can get 4 or 5 guys for the price of Adams, we'll see what happens next year if the Raiders overpaid him or not.
No, that's not. No, I think that was a good deal. I really like that trade. I really like him on that team.
I
I
mean,
really like
that's his guy.
I like the Raiders. Like with him, they're gonna be extra special. They're gonna be really good, really, 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 really good.
And that is his guy. That's for sure. I don't know though, man. This is big money for wide receivers. I don't know.
He's gonna do good. They know each other. They're really good friends. They're gonna be good. They could run the football. He's gonna do good. They're coming out on top in that division.
And then we got the
Car's,
NBA.
Car's gonna shine.
We got the NBA playoffs starting up. So looks like we got the Suns versus the. So we'll go through the games here. We got the Suns playing the Pelicans. What do you like there?
You already know this.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
All right, we got the Mavericks versus the Jazz. It's a tough one.
That's a tough one.
Yeah.
I'm going to take the Mavericks over the Jazz.
All right, really?
Yeah, I want to take the Mavericks over the Jazz. The Jazz haven't been playing really good basketball for some reason. I can't understand why the chemistry's not there anymore. But I think that the Mavericks they have a lot of the momentum going. They're on playing good basketball. They're gelling well right now. Perfect time for them to be in the playoffs. Luka he's doing his thing.
I know. Oh, Mitchell though. I mean that Jazz team is deep.
Yeah. Even I don't get I really don't, they've been losing basketball games. It's playoff time, but I don't know. I just like the Mavericks over them.
We got. I think I'll go to Jazz. We got Golden State versus Denver.
Golden State. If Steph plays.
Yeah. It's tough for right, if Steph plays. It's tough for Denver. I mean, they always have these teams that are good, but they're never great. They never get over the hump.
Denver is missing they're missing some players, so they're
No, I know.
missing Jamal Murray and they're missing Michael Porter Jr.
Yeah. I just feel for them. They
Yeah,
never
I feel bad for them if they had those two guys playing all season, and it's going, you know, that'll they're going to be tough next year if those guys come back.
it was like remember Sacramento those years when they had Weber, those teams were good. I mean, the referees helped keep them from winning there one of those years, but the Kings were good those years. They never won a title. And it's a shame those teams that get close. Always the bridesmaid, never the bride kind of teams,
Yeah.
We got Memphis versus Minnesota, the T-Wolves.
Memphis.
Yeah. This seems like their year to make a run.
Patrick Beverly won't. He's gonna try to get it into Ja Morant's head. That's not going to happen.
No.
Ja's a little too he's really athletic. He can't stay in front of him. He's he's good, but he can't stay in front of Ja. So that's going to be Patrick Beverly's going to get frustrated. He's going to probably want to do what he did to Chris Paul when he's not looking, push him in the back at the something dirty to try to get in his head. But probably go out there and drop 40 on Patrick Beverly. How about that?
How about that? Catch me outside.
I don't even think he wants to see him outside because Ja's real athletic. So if he could jump and move around like that, I don't think Patrick wants to see him. So
no, definitely not. All right, we're getting near the end of the show. Let's run through a few of these games here. I'm gonna read off the bracket. All right, the Miami Heat versus the Atlanta Hawks.
Atlanta looked like Atlanta from last year, but they're not going to beat the Heat.
No. There's going to be an upset in here somewhere, though.
Yeah.
All the favorites can't win. There's going to be an upset.
Yeah. It'll be interesting. If they play like they played, like, was it last night they played that? Yeah, it was last night. Yeah, it's going to be interesting. They played really good. They probably had the best game of the season last night.
The Hawks.
Yes.
Yeah.
They tried to, he struggled shooting. Ice Trey, he struggled, but guess what? He did a lot. He did everything else well. He passed. He got everybody involved. They just gelled last night. Capella played great. The big fella over there, he played great.
It's a tough opponent for the first round. I'll tell you that.
Yeah.
Especially for a play-in game. And the Hawks they're pretty solid.
They got experience. So
yeah.
It's going to be interesting. That's going to be a really good series.
Oh, yeah. And we got Philly versus Toronto.
Ooh, that's going to be a tough one.
Upset.
There you go.
I think that's my
James
upset.
Harden. The beard is not. He's not doing his thing though. I don't know what's going on with him. James can't get it done. Maybe he got a curse. They got the Oklahoma Thunder curse. The only one came out of there that won a championship is KD.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, think about that.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm going Toronto. I think Toronto's a tough team.
tough.
They're not based on one superstar. They're not, we're talking about throwbacks. I think they're a throwback team. They're like with the Grizzlies. They play well together.
Right. Both teams are coached well.
Yeah.
They really coach well. They do everything well. They play basketball together, so that's a good thing.
Milwaukee and Chicago.
Chicago's really good, but they're not gonna. They're not going to beat the Bucks. I don't know. Demarcus Rosen is playing good basketball. He's not going to get it done against them.
No, that's a tough game. That's a
I
tough
think
series
that
for Chicago.
I don't know. It's just they're not going to beat them. I think they really need They're missing some players there. A couple of players short of winning the champ to really be competitive. Not winning a championship, I should say, but being really more stronger basketball team.
And then we got finally Boston and Brooklyn.
Ooh, I don't. I'm a net fan, but that's going to be a tough one. It's going to be a good basketball game.
Yeah,
But
that's a
that's a
tough
good.
one. Boston. I was telling you, we were talking about it off the show about Boston, that to me they're that team that they're like the forgotten juggernaut, and now all of
Right.
a sudden they're a number 2 seed. They kind of snuck in there.
Yeah, they had a hard time. I don't know. They learned like they wasn't playing good basketball together. So now, they kind of figured things out over there. They had a good new coach at the beginning of the season. Brown and Tatum are playing back. They're playing well together.
Yeah.
So, but my thing is, right now, there might be the missing link in the Brooklyn Nets might be able to take advantage of it is their big man. Williams is out. Can those two guys match up to Kyrie and Durant? Their supporting cast is better than the Nets.
Right.
Their bench is better.
Boston's bench is better.
Yeah, I think whoever it's going to be tough. I think. I don't know. I'm going to take Brooklyn on it. I'm going to go with Brooklyn.
Well,
In the ball,
Brooklyn,
in the garden. Kyrie Irving. It's time for him. Like right now, he doesn't have a lot of games. He's healthy. He's fresh. Let's go, Kyrie. Let's go eat him up.
I definitely want to see Brooklyn win. Will they win? No, that Boston team, like you said, I think it's going to come down to the big man. If they have a big man that can fill in for Williams and match up.
Williams, he's not there.
JT though, he's had some year. I think he put up 40 the last time he played Brooklyn. He plays well against them.
Yeah, he's young, athletic, defensive player. He's good. I got Brooklyn. I got Brooklyn winning that game, winning against them.
Yeah, no
over them.
There.
Yeah, I got Brooklyn. I think KD and Kyrie, it's time for them to rise up and show the world how good they are together.
Yeah, I agree. It's time. I mean, they waited for Durant to recover, so they needed Durant to recover from his injury when they signed him. Now they needed Kyrie back with the vaccination status. Now they're both together. Let's see it.
Right.
Let's see it. It's time.
Steph Curry. If Steph Curry plays, Steph and Drummond play well. That could be the deciding factor. I think the bench play, the bench play on both sides. Whoever the bench plays better, I think that who will come out on top.
So who is, to wrap up the show here? We're near the finish line. Who is your pick for the NBA championship? Who do you think is going to be playing?
Well, the obvious choice is Phoenix,
Right.
in the West. I'm going to take the Milwaukee Bucks again. Those two guys going at it. Those two teams going at it, I should say. That's what I'm sorry.
Taking the Bucks.
Yeah, I'm taking the Bucks coming out of the East.
Bucks versus you said the Suns and the Bucks, right?
Yeah, correct.
I'm gonna go. It's a tough one. I was thinking Suns too. I don't know.
Suns is going to win. They're going to win the chip this year.
We can't both go Suns. I don't know. Well, so who do you have winning? You have the Suns beating.
I got them over Milwaukee. That's going to be a good series. That's going to be a tough series. Yeah, I think right now, Giannis, the Greek freak, he's something special. He's the best. He's the best. He's the world's greatest right now. He is the best basketball player in the world.
Yeah, he's incredible.
Dominant. He's dominant. And he plays both sides of the court. He's getting stronger and stronger every year.
I'm gonna go. I thought it was gonna be Suns versus Brooklyn last year, so I think I'm gonna go Utah or Phoenix. All right, I'm gonna go Suns in Brooklyn.
Utah's not gonna be there, John. I guess. Block that out. Block that out. Let's get that out of your head. Let's get that out of the head. It's not gonna happen. You know what I'm saying? They're gonna get beat when they play. Who they play again? Who they play?
I should say I don't watch a lot of basketball.
Yeah, who the Jazz playing now?
I own a lot of jerseys though.
Yeah, they're gonna get beat.
Well, we both like the Suns. All right, so to wrap up the show here, I've heard that you do a great Mike Tyson impression, that you actually met him before. So I'm gonna put you on the spot. Can you do an impression of Mike Tyson ordering chicken?
Yeah, I'm gonna do my Mike Tyson impression. When I see you next time, I'm gonna punch you in your ear and make you squeal like a pig. See, all that you giggle and you think you're a scared little man over there talking, with that hat on backwards. Let me show you what a real man is. You think it's funny right now, but when I see you, you're not gonna like it. Let me show you what a real man is. I'm gonna beat you up. They're not gonna recognize you at work.
Come on, Mike. Come on, let's go to Wendy's. Let's get some chicken nuggets. Come on.
Make sure we get a lot of sauce.
Man, always a pleasure. It's always a pleasure having you on the show. We'll see you next week.
All right, big guy.
All right, later, brother.
All right, later.